What's good, guys? Your boy, Mr. Old School Ryder. Come back at you one more again on Hey, Use Your Inside Voice, featuring my guest, Mr. Esteban Valentin. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, sir. So we're just going to have a brief show about what you do. So I actually saw you on Instagram. I actually have a couple BMW 2002s, and I actually seen yours. Tell us
What,
how you got into that.
what years are yours? You have two, you said?
Yes, one's my 76 is just a body,
Hmm?
and my 74, I thought it was a 75, but it's a 74.
Any of them are running or?
The 74 is running,
Okay.
but it needs a lot of work. The body is straight, but it needed like a complete makeover pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you can find them like that. Some of them are good runners. Some of them are drivers. Some of them are show cars. So I came up on mine. It was a funny story because I've been into BMWs now for about like 4 years. It's recent. It hasn't been like a really long time, but when I came into them, I started with an M2, a 2017 M2, just like this one, the blue one.
Hmm.
And I kind of it went from having just one BMW and having multiple Hondas. I sold all my Hondas and started buying a couple of BMWs. So it kind of started with one and it snowballed. And the 2002, I came up with it because I actually was getting delivery of the new M2 competition that I bought. And when I was picking that one up in South Carolina, I actually saw another BMW parked outside of a warehouse that kind of caught my attention. Turned around to go take a look at it and was about to leave. And a fellow from inside of the warehouse came out and said, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" And I'm like, "I'm just looking around. Uh, this car caught my eye." He said, "Come on in so you can see what I have inside." He walked me into the warehouse. He had like 60 BMWs in there. So he had a little bit of everything. And there was about 10 or 12 2002s that he had there. And
Oh
one of them was
wow.
the one that I bought. So I basically saw the car. It was like in December because that's when I got my M2 competition delivered over from Europe because I did European delivery, but I had it re-delivered in South Carolina.
Hmm.
And I look at it and I'm like, I really like it, but I just got a brand new car. Yeah, I can't justify buying another car right now. And I think I sat on it for like 3 months, and I was just thinking about the car. I had a couple of friends that had 2002s, and they were telling me, "Dude, you got to buy it because they're gonna start going up in price, and then they're gonna be untouchable." So about 2 or 3 months later, I started talking with a fellow again. "Hey, you still have it? Let's do a deal." And I ended up buying it and then shipping it over from South Carolina down here to Florida.
Oh wow. Okay, you on the east? Okay, you Central Time like me, right?
I'm
I'm
Eastern.
in
I'm in
Georgia.
Florida.
You are you Central?
I'm Eastern.
Oh, you Eastern. I just want to make sure. Okay.
Hmm?
So Corona, is that all the way down in Florida? Is it close to Miami? Is it like further up?
I'm further up, so I'm about maybe like an hour from Orlando,
Oh
and then
wow.
I'm on the East Coast.
Basically how I got into the BMW 2002s. I've been seeing them from like a far from a long time ago. They've been like hell of expensive forever, man.
Yeah, well, they go up and down, but since I think maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, they started going up solid, and it's mostly because the model hit about 50 years old, and once
Oh,
it hit that 50-year-old threshold, they just kind of skyrocketed.
yeah, those parts are interesting, man. Price wise.
Yeah, but I've been looking at the market on them, and I'm telling you, they keep on going up. And you used to be able to find like just something that you can at least get into, maybe had a little bit of rust. You can find them for like 2 or 3 grand easily. Now a rust bucket that's running, they'll ask you for like 8 or 9 grand. I mean, the people that are old school and had a couple of 2002s, they're not gonna want to pay it for them. But people that are trying to get into them, I mean, they are hashing out the money just to get something that they can get their hands on.
Oh wow. Yeah, I actually kind of slipping. I mean, I always wanted a 2002. Like I said before, that was like too expensive. So years back, I had an '85 BMW CSI European Edition.
Yep.
Man, that was a money pit. Man, every
Anything old like that is gonna be a money pit.
I thought the 2002 parts was crazy, but those 635s, man, oh my God, man.
They're really hard to get. I mean, the good thing about 2002 was they're rare now because I mean they're so old, but they were sold in such high quantities, right? So spare parts are still available, and there's a couple companies that are actually making parts again. Like they have a mold like for the full front end. They're making door skins. You can still get the floors like brand new, right? If you have like a car that has the whole floor rusted out, you can buy the floor pan. You can buy the trunk. Almost every part right now, they're making reproduction parts, which is great.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing. I guess I caught it just in time. I got them pretty cheap. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. That 76 with just the body. I frequent this junkyard. It's a luxury junkyard. It used to have like Mercedes, like the old cars back in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a 68 Mercedes there like years ago, like a 2-door.
Okay.
That was one of the cars I regret letting go. That car is like real high right now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? Let me see what they got now. I saw another Mercedes. He said, "Hey, I got something else you need to see." I'm like, "Man, you ain't gonna top this other car that's sitting over here."
Mm-hmm.
He took me to the back. I looked at it. I was thinking in my head, he probably ain't talking about this. He probably talking about this. I saw like a 61 Mercedes. I think they call it like the Platoon, like the old classic style Mercedes, like the round one.
Okay.
You might have to look it up. It's like the old classic body style. I thought he may be talking about that. But he said, no, look up. He talking about this car. I'm like, no, you gotta be kidding, man.
Was it 2002?
A 2002? I thought he go want like hell the money for it because the body was straight, but it's missing a lot of stuff.
Okay.
In Dallas, there's a couple BMW people that actually buy them and fix them up real quick. Something like that normally like $5,000, just a body.
Yeah.
Man, he said, "How much you gonna give me for it?" I guess they trying to get rid of the old stuff.
Okay.
Man, I know, but I said I'll give you $100 for it.
Don't tell me.
No, you got to come up for it. You got to come up. He said I pay junk prices for it. I'm like, you sure? I said I got $300. I paid him $300.
That's crazy. You know how much? I mean, just if it has all the windows good, I mean that's more than just a couple of the windows.
I got a couple of this and couple of that on the car, but what kind of attracted me? The body was straight.
Okay.
But I'm gonna need. Actually, with the car I just bought, it came with a spare hood and a spare trunk. I got that covered already.
Okay.
I bought like a door. I got some extra window. I bought a little bit of everything before I bought this car.
Okay.
I've been going to the junkyard in Georgia. I'm trying to think the name of it. Golly. You may know the guy. I think a guy named Bobby. He's like in northern Georgia. He has like a class of BMW junkyard.
Yeah, I heard
he do
about
none but BMWs.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy, man.
You picked up a couple parts for them there?
Say what?
You picked up a couple parts from him here for the ones that you have now?
Oh yeah. I picked up quite a few parts. Man, he looked out for me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's good. I mean, and that's what I like about the 2002 BMW community. It's a really different vibe because I have a little bit of the old cars. I have a couple of the new ones, right? So I've been on the boards. I'm involved with BMW CCA, so I'm really involved with the BMW scene, and it's really surprising to see like the camaraderie that you have in the 2002 community. I'm on a Facebook group that has probably like 20,000 members on it, and it's the type of group where you go in and you say, "Hey guys, I'm I had an issue, broke my passenger window. Can you guys figure out where I can find one?" And you're gonna find like 3 or 4 people say, "Dude, I have one in my basement. Just pay for the shipping and it's yours." Like, I mean, they're always looking out for each other because it's just that kind of vibe that they have where they'll help you today because they know if they need help later that you're gonna help them out. So it's a really different community, and I'm really happy to be part of it.
Yeah, I was very surprised about the community. I'm like, you know what? A lot of people say, "Man, you over your head, man." I've been looking. I'm in American cars, but I like that European stuff, man. I even own like Renaults. I had some MGs. Man, I all type of weird stuff, man, in my past.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of cars. That was before the internet. That was very cheap.
Yeah.
You can pick up a car for like $200-$300 back in the day.
Yeah. Now, I mean, with the internet, like you said, it's the reach that you have in the market. You can be reaching out people that are so far from you that someone's going to be willing to pay a lot more. So that's why that also jacked up the prices a lot.
It's a good and bad thing, the internet. It's a good thing with the reach, but it's a bad thing if you're trying to get something for yourself. I'm like, God dang.
You're competing with a lot, yeah.
I mean, they a lot of people are firm on that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I wasn't even looking for another 2002, to be honest about it. I was looking for some parts for my Oldsmobile. I have 4 Oldsmobiles back home in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I just happened to driving around in Georgia. I seen a shop had a bunch of old cars. I seen an Oldsmobile over there. Then I seen a 2002 just tucked off in the corner with a rusted hood. I'm like, nah. I'm seeing stuff right now. That might be like I'm like, it must be a Fiat. That's not a BMW. Man, I hit a U-turn so quick. They say no U-turn by the cops. I had to turn around. It was a BMW. The guy said it was a 75, but I read I decoded the tag. It was a 74.
Yep. So that's the other one that you bought?
Yes. That's the one I have on Instagram.
Okay. How long have you had them now?
I had that one maybe like a month. I got to go pick it up very soon, but I can't say how much I paid for it, but it was an unbelievable price.
Yeah. Okay. So what are your plans? Are you just gonna like make one out of the best parts of both of them, or are you gonna have both of them running, or what's your plan with them?
What I was gonna do with the 76, since it didn't have no motor or nothing in it, I actually bought like a motor from what year is that BMW? I think it's like a 86 or 87. It came out of a 318. I was gonna do that swap.
Is it if it's a 318, it's still the 4-cylinder, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yep.
With the automatic transmission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bought a gang of parts already.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna turn that into a little. I mean, I know that motor ain't really nothing to the community, but to me, it's a lot more horsepower than a E10.
And that's the thing is with the 2002, they don't weigh a lot, so you really don't need a lot of power. And that's a question that I get a lot with my cars, because I have some of the new ones. They have a lot of power, and then they're like, how do you find the 2002 fun if it's it's slow compared to the newer cars? But it's because it's so engaging, because it's old school, no electronics. You're basically connected directly to the car, and you don't need to have a lot of power to make it fun, because they weigh only like 2,200 pounds. So any motor that has a little bit of power, they move really well. And mine is actually it's a base 2002, but it had a TII engine swapped into it at one point. So that's why you see that it has a badge of TII. It's the engine, it's the whole drivetrain that it has, but that's the only difference that they had mostly between the carburetor version and the fuel injection one.
Yeah, I actually drove both in the past. I like the fuel injection got a little bit more pep and more reliable, but it's just something about the carburetor, man.
They scream a little bit differently, but the carburetor one, I'm not sure exactly how much they were rated at, but I think the fuel injection one was about 130, 135 horsepower. So it does have a little bit more grunt.
I mean, even with a body that light, it still got some good pickup.
It does.
And my car is automatic. So
yeah, I mean, you with a nice swap on it. That's the next mod that I have for mine, because mine is a 4-speed, but I did source a 5-speed out of an EA. What is it? The E21, which is the 320s. Mm-hmm. They came with a 5-speed that is a straight swap into the 2002. So that's something that I picked up, and hopefully I'll do a 5-speed swap on mine.
What year is that? Is that like a 1980 to 320? What year is that 320?
It basically came out right after the 2002. It was basically a replacement for the 2002 at that point.
I think it got the same guts, kinda, right?
It has the what?
I think it kind of like. I guess if the 2000, I guess everything is pretty much all new at the bottom, right?
At the body, it's
the bottom of it.
No, the engine itself, the like the whole car was a new design, right? So
All new. Okay.
chassis was different, but there were a couple of different engines that they put in them, and the engine itself, it's a lot of them had the same engine. So you had like a 320 IS version that came with the Peppy engine, but also had like a 5-speed LSD. It had the Recaro nice seats. Those are the one that I sourced. So a lot of people were taking the 320 IS that they were finding at the junkyards, and they were stripping them. So they were taking the 5-speed LSD and the seats and just putting them into 2002s because they were a straight swap into them. So there's a lot of parts of them that are interchangeable from the mechanics perspective, but the body was a new version of a car.
Yeah, those LSD is the locker for the rear end, right?
Yeah, differential.
Those
So
are
you
not
have
cheap.
no. I mean, you can. They use again. I've been talking to a lot of the friends in the 2002 community. Some of them have been into these cars for like 20 years, and they're telling me, I remember when you can pick up a 5-speed swap for them for like $100, and I'm like, right now, if you want a 5-speed, you literally pay like $1,200 for a 5-speed transmission. That's how crazy the parts have gone up also.
And I've been pricing up the LSD, man. Some people want like at least 1,000 for at
Yeah,
least for it. I'm like, really?
yeah. I mean, you pick one up, and that's why people are doing what I'm telling you, that they picked up a used 320 IS. Maybe it was kind of banged up, maybe a lot of rust. They didn't care because they were paying basically for the transmission, LSD, and the seats, because the seats are a nice set of Recaros that have the BMW insignia and all that on the side. So they're running also up. I mean, the seats, you can get a nice decent pair anywhere between $500, $600. Now you're looking to pay $1,200, $1,300 also.
Wow. Man, I thought prices was high in the domestic side, but man, I'm in a whole different world now.
Yeah.
My
But
God.
again, there's a big community out there, and if you ever need parts, I mean, you got my contact. You hit me up because I have a lot of friends that are into 2002s for a while, and like I said, they're always willing to help out. I mean, if they have spare parts, they'll have a decent price on them, right? There's people out there that are just trying to hog all the parts to make a buck off them, and that's okay. I mean, there's people that that's their hustle, and I respect it. But there's others that are like they're trying to gather all the parts that they can find, because if they know someone that needs them, they'll give them a good deal. And I've come up with a couple of super nice people that have done that. I mean, the seats that I bought, I got them for like $600. It was a deal. I mean, the guy had to ship them from out of state. It was probably like $100 shipping, so he really made like $500 on them. And I mean, again, he wasn't looking to make a fortune off of them. Gave me a decent price. I have another friend that the transmission that I bought, it was like $500, $600. I mean, when people are asking for $1,300 for them. I have also a refresh steering box, which I mean they're basically running for a couple bucks. Also, you will find that $600, $700. I got it for like $300. Again, decent price, nothing crazy. Just people looking out for other people, trying to help out and make a buck off of what they have, but not make a fortune.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I guess I can't knock the hustle to a certain extent, but it actually comes to a point. It gets a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and that happens with almost all the community with old school cars like that. Once it's a supply and demand thing, that it doesn't just work on the cars things. It's everything. It's supply and demand. So if there's people willing to pay it, that there's going to be a jack in price.
Yeah, I also have a 67 Mercury Cougar. That's another community. Those parts are crazy, man.
Yeah,
Them parts might be up there on the BMW, might be a little bit more. They only made them for like an X amount of years, and it's barely like any repo for the parts.
yeah,
I mean, they just now coming out with like major body parts itself for the hood, of course, in the trunk. I know they got the trunk now, but I'm just waiting on the door and the hood to come through. When they come by, I'm gonna snatch it up.
yes, yeah. How many cars do you have right now?
Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. 4 Oldsmobiles. I got a Mercury Cougar, 67. Them 2 BMWs. I'm trying to think of something now. What is that other car? That's another Mercury somewhere. A Mercury Comet. A 68.
It's hard for you to keep track on all the cars.
I know, man. I'm in Atlanta right now. The only car that's up here is the 60s. God, dog. The only car that's up here is the 74 2002.
Okay.
You know, hopefully I get that here pretty soon in another month. I can go ahead and clean it up and figure out what I need to do.
Yeah, I mean, like when you get that list going and you figure what you need, hit me up. Anything that I can help you source, I'll help you out, man.
So how much more you have to do on your BMW?
So on my 2002, it's not much because that car, I mean, I bought it and it was a decent driver. The car has been probably repainted 3-4 times in its life. It's not a show car. I mean, it looks good in the pictures, but it's not, when you get close up, it's a driver. But that's what I wanted because I know a lot of people that you buy a $50,000, $60,000 2002 completely restored, and then you don't want to drive it because you're like, oh, if I get it out of the and someone hits it, I enjoy them. I try to drive them, and I drive all the cars that I have at least once a week. So I rotate them a lot. And I wanted 2002 to be just like that, something that I'm not worried about getting in, driving. And if you have an accident, something happens, that's what insurance is for. So I'm not afraid of driving that one. And that car probably has been painted like 3 or 4 times in its life. It does have its imperfections, but I tried to tweak it because it was in pretty good shape when I bought it. So it didn't need a lot. I did go over a couple of details from the mechanic's perspective. It did have the Kugelfischer pump was bad, so it was locked in like an open, so it was always injecting a lot of gas into the engine. Had to take care of that. Once that got taken care of and it got a nice tune, I found a guy up in maybe like an hour and a half away from me. He's been tuning these cars for like 30 years. I mean, he's he knows them like the back of his hand. And I took it to him. He got it running perfect, and it's been like that for over a year and a half. So mechanically, the car's perfect. Then took it to a friend in Orlando that specializes in them. He has an actual 2002 turbo, and he went over the whole car. We did bushings, which is needed, brake lines. So, I mean, the car is mechanically perfect. So I can get in it, drive it without any issues, not worrying that anything is going to happen. Did the lowering springs. I did tweak it a little bit. I did the wheels. So I've been doing just couple details here and there, fixing lights, doing LEDs on it. Just, I mean, something safe. So if I take it at night, I'm not worried about someone not seeing me, which is a common issue with those cars, that at night you can't see them because their lights are so dim. So I went through the whole refresh of doing LED lights on it, but pretty much the car is done. What I need to do is the 5-speed swap, because I'm planning to see if I can do, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Vintage. That's a really big meet that they do of BMWs in Asheville. So it's about a 10-hour drive from me, and if you're going to be on the interstate and you're hitting, not 80 miles per hour in the 4-speed, you're like at 4,000 RPM or a little bit more. So if you have that 5-speed, it's going to help you because it's going to be more a little cruiser when you're on the interstate. So that's basically what it needs: the 5-speed and the steering box, because it does have like a little bit of play in the steering wheel. And that should help tighten it up. But after that, the car doesn't need anything. I basically went through everything that I want to do and updated all the interior, everything that I want exterior. So the car doesn't really need much.
So on the steering box, that steering box also came out the 320 as well?
So it's from a 2002 also. I don't think I'm not sure if it's between 320. But the one that I got is from 2002 that basically they opened it up, did refresh, all new seals and everything. So it's ready to just swap it in and probably just clean up mine, do a refresh on mine and have it as a spare.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to crack that thing open, man.
Yeah.
I guess I'll see how far I can actually drive it. We basically getting close to the end and just got a few more questions. So I noticed you part of the BMW CCA.
I'm part of BMW CCA. So since the moment that I got into the BMWs, I did get into BMW CCA, and then I did get active. So I'm on my local chapter, and I was setting up like a lunch every second Saturday of the month, and I was setting up autocrosses with the Porsche Club locally. So I try to get it involved just to get events going on where I'm located at, because a lot of the chapters sometimes cover a big area. And if you don't have someone from the board that's pretty close, it's really hard to get events going. So I did get on the board and started doing some events local to me. And that one thing led to the other. And then now recently, coming up to a year now, I became the vice president of the M chapter. So they developed a new M chapter that's non-geographical, so it covers a large part of the United States and other parts of like Puerto Rico and other places.
Oh, man.
And I've been the vice president of the M chapter now for close to a year now.
Oh, congratulations, man. That's
Yeah.
pretty big.
It's pretty. It is. I mean, I love it because it gets you in contact with a lot of people, a lot of enthusiasts around the whole United States. So I did it always for the networking. I love talking cars. I mean, you reached out to me through Instagram, said you want to do an interview. I said, of course, let's do it, because I can talk cars all day long.
Yeah, normally on my interviews, I'm kind of long-winded, and I'm basically trying to keep these interviews a little bit short.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, but also on your Instagram, I also see you have a lot of food on your Instagram. What's going on with that?
It's always a bit of foodie. So I have two Instagrams. I have one that's just for the cars. I post all the 4 different cars that I have. But I do have a personal one that everything you see on that is just food and drinks. So if it's not beer, it's bourbon. I'm a whiskey guy, and I like to do a lot of barbecue. So on my personal page, all you're gonna see is food, drinks, and every now and then dogs, because I have a couple dogs. And some of the stuff that I share on my personal one, then I put it on my Instagram stories on the car page. And that's probably where you see a lot of it, because I cross share sometimes between the accounts.
Yeah, I looked on I saw the car page first, and then I saw something like L Band. I'm like, let me click on that, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, dang, he must be a cook.
Yeah. Well, what is that? I say I'm a barbecue enthusiast, so I'm always trying to cook out. And there's in where I'm at, there's not a lot of things to do, because I'm the part of Florida I'm in. It's really like laid back, which I like, because it's not really hectic. And if I want to go to Orlando, I'm about an hour away. If I want to go to Miami, I'm just like 3 hours away. But where I'm at, it's really laid back. So there's not a lot to do, but there's a lot of good places to eat. So I'm always on the run trying to pick up some food and enjoying some of the good food that's in my area.
Oh, so you don't have to deal with the tourists being all over the place then. It's just a laid back town.
It's laid back. I do have to deal with some of the snowbirds, but I mean, it's not a tourist area, so it's good. I'm on what they call the Space Coast, so the rockets are taking off.
Oh, wow, you're that close. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about half an hour. When they take off and they're some of the big ones, my windows shake at home.
Ooh, that's very close.
Yeah.
So do you have a lot of people want to buy your car all the time?
Always. It's 2002 is a car that I get at least 1 or 2 offers every week. And I don't even give one of, some people just give like a crazy number just, to scare people away. I don't do that, because I'm afraid someone's going to say, yeah, here's the money. And I'm like, I can't. But the 2002 does get a lot of offers. I do have an E30 also, 325 IS. That's an 87. And that's one that I bought maybe a year and a half ago now. And I get a lot of offers on that one. That's always, and that one I will sell eventually. But I'm trying to enjoy that one a little bit more before I let it go.
Yeah, when I was driving around recently, we was going to this food place. It was this old neighborhood that had some of the older cars. I actually saw like a 320 black. I'm going to have to see what's going on with that car. The body was good from afar.
Yep.
Looked like it never been, looked like haven't been driven like in a long time.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I'm probably going to check it out probably like another week or so and see what they want to do with it.
Those are the ones that you have, every time you see a car like that, you got to have a card and leave your number and name.
Got all kind of dust on it. I'm like, they're not driving that car.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that pick up cars like that. I mean, people that maybe it was someone that passed and the family member has a car, doesn't know what to do with them, and you can always swing by and see if you can take it off their hands.
So the car, the 320, you said the II or the IS?
The IS.
The 5-speed swap?
Yeah, the IS is a good one to find, because if you do find them, now the thing is that they're picking up again. There's a lot of people that know that they're nice and fun. So they used to get picked up a lot to strip them, but there's a lot of people now looking for them just to, like rejuvenate them and get them up and running again. But the 320 IS is one that it has a 5-speed, the LSD, and the seats that if you actually get your hands on one, it might be rusted out. Don't worry about it, because what you really want is those parts because they fit directly on your 2002.
Do the is it going to say 320 IS on the back?
I'm not sure if it says it on the badge, but you can know it because of the seats are a dead giveaway when you look at them, because the base one had like normal seats, whereas this one has the nice Recaros. And it usually has like a set of BBS wheels. It has like old school BBS wheels. And they sometimes have like a front balance that you can identify them like that.
You know what? I'm going to have to go ahead and check that 320 out, man.
Start finding them. If you see it, snap a picture, send it over. I'll let you know if it's a real deal or not.
All right. Are we about to close this up? I do appreciate you coming through today, Mr. Esteban. You have any final questions or statements before we go?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you reaching out. Like I said, anytime you want to talk, let me know. From an enthusiast to another one, anything you need, anytime I can help, just reach out, man. And thanks for asking me to be on the show. I appreciate it.
I was always wondering about your car. I had to get you on, man.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, at some point, I don't have it here because I do have space for 4 cars here, and I rotate the 2002. So I always try to have them in the garage. So I have one stored at my parents' house. They don't live too far from me. Mm-hmm. But one time we can do a chat like this, and I'll bring out with the iPad or something and give you a walk around so I can show you the whole car up and down every corner of it.
All right, that'll work then. All right, guys. You guys have a good night. I do appreciate you, man. Thank you very much, sir.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
You have a good one, okay?
You too. Bye.